In April 2025, a significant change took place in the United Kingdom. This tax year marks the final phase out of 5 out of 6 old types of government support. These include tax credits, income support, housing benefit, and other benefits that many people have been receiving under the old system. This means that if someone continues to wait for payments without taking further action, they risk losing all financial support. What should those people do if they are currently receiving one of these benefits? The first thing a person needs to know is that they will definitely receive a migration notice letter. This is an official communication from the Department for Work and Pensions, explaining clearly what steps must be taken next. The letter will set out a specific deadline by which the person must apply for universal credit. After receiving the letter, the next step is not to delay, but to begin preparing the universal credit application immediately. The person should go onto the official government website or contact the Universal Credit Helpline if they need assistance with any questions. It is crucial to understand that the universal credit application does not happen automatically. It must be made by the individual themselves. Therefore, once a migration notice letter is received, the person needs to either open an online universal credit account or create a new one if they do not yet have one, and complete the application form. In the form, they will be asked to provide personal details, information about their income, housing situation, family circumstances, and supporting documents. Next, the applicant must complete an identity verification process. This may be done through the Gov UK Verify service online or by a telephone call if additional checks are needed. In some cases, they may be asked to attend an appointment at a Job Centre Plus. Once the application is submitted, it is very important to check the messages in their universal credit account regularly. The system may request further information or documents. This is a normal part of the process. It is important to read any instructions carefully and respond promptly to avoid delays. Submitting the application by the deadline set in the migration notice letter is critical. If a person misses this deadline, their old benefits will be automatically stopped, and it will be much harder to start receiving universal credit. They would have to make a brand new application and would not qualify for income protection available through Managed Migration. If the application is submitted on time, the person will usually receive their first universal credit payment about 5 weeks later. During this waiting period, it is possible to request an advance payment if they have little or no savings and need urgent financial support. There is also an important element called transitional protection. If a person applies before the deadline, they may receive an extra payment to ensure that their income under universal credit is not less than what they previously received under the old benefits. However, if the application is made late, this transitional protection will be lost. There is another very important point that applies specifically to people who are moving to universal credit because they have received a migration notice letter. If you have received a migration notice letter, you are allowed to apply for universal credit, even if you have savings, capital, or investments worth over £16,000. This is a special exception that applies only to those moving under managed migration. Once you submit your claim and start receiving universal credit, your finances will be assessed every month. Each assessment period lasts 1 calendar month. For the first 12 assessment periods, even if your savings, capital, or investments remain above £16,000, you can still continue receiving universal credit. However, if after 12 months you still have savings, capital, or investments above £16,000, your entitlement to universal credit will end. This means that payments will stop. It is equally important to remember, if you submit your universal credit application after the deadline stated in your migration notice letter, and you have savings, capital, or investments exceeding £16,000 at that time, you will not be eligible for universal credit at all. Your application will be refused automatically because of exceeding the financial threshold. So, once again, the key message is: apply on time. Even if you currently have substantial savings, submitting your application within the set deadline will allow you to continue receiving universal credit for up to 12 months, regardless of the value of your assets.